I want you guys to remember something. And this is very important what I'm about to tell you guys. This book and this movie is based off of Twilight fan fiction. That's why this book was created, that's why the movie was created, and to top it all off, the book, half of it was written, most of the book was written on a BlackBerry. Yeah, that's, yeah, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and, yeah. So yeah, finally I saw this movie, and I know a lot of you are gonna be like, why did you watch this? Why did you put yourself through this? Because I wanted to. Because I wanted to review it to you. To be honest, guys, I did not want to see this movie. I had no interest in seeing this movie whatsoever. Really, I literally had no interest. Now, I will say something. This is gonna be my review / epic rant for 50 Shades of Grey, but I'm gonna say something about this first trailer. The first trailer for this movie I thought actually looked really good. I thought Jamie Dornan looked really good as Christian Grey, and I thought it was going to be very interesting. Second trailer came out, all my hopes are gone. I'm like, this movie is not going to be good now. And how was 50 Shades of Grey? A complete mess. That is how you describe this movie. This movie is a mess. Really, it is. And I'm going to say this right now. This movie is a mess, and it had way too much going on. It had so much that could have been good about it. I will say this. 50 Shades of Grey could have been a very good movie. It actually could have been. There are elements of it that could have been good. But because of how stupid the story is and things like that, it just is horribly bad. And we're going to get to the story of 50 Shades of Grey, which honestly is so stupid. But of course, guys, did you expect this movie to be good? Like, if you did not read the book, and you were fans of this, and you were not fans of the book, and you saw this movie and you hated, did you actually expect for this thing to be good? Like, seriously, I had no... I was like, there's no way this is actually going to be good. There's no way. And it's not. And I'm going to talk about the things that make this movie so just not good at all. And for a while, I will admit there were times where I tried to enjoy this movie, and there are some people that are going to enjoy this movie. There was a girl at my school today who talked to me about this, and she said she loved the movie, and great. If you love the movie, great. But if you are someone who has a lot of problems with movies, then you're gonna be like me and probably hate this movie. I'm gonna talk about why I hate this movie. First of all, the plot of this movie is one of the dumbest things ever. We have this girl, Anastasia Steele. Her name is Anastasia Steele, and she's a college graduate, and she works at a hardware store. I'm not kidding, guys. She works at a hardware store, and her name is Anastasia Steele. I'm not kidding. It's hilarious, but basically, she shares this apartment with her roommate, Kate, and her roommate was supposed to have this interview with this guy, Christian Grey, but she falls ill, and Anna has to give the interview with Christian Grey, and they eventually start to spark interest, and they eventually start to have a sexual relation because he does not want to have a real relationship with her and pursue a real relationship with her, and he eventually introduces her to BDSM, and she has to make a decision of does she really want to be with him, or can she just get the fuck out and leave? And that's the plot of this movie. I'm not kidding, you guys. That's the plot of this movie. It's so dumb, and that's literally the plot of this movie. And this movie is just a mess. It is such a mess, and there's so many things that are wrong with this movie. Again, guys, there are elements of this movie that could have been very good. In fact, when I initially heard about this movie, I'm like, this could be better than Twilight. But it exceeds to... You can tell that this thing is Twilight fanfiction because it feels so Twilight. And I'm going to talk about why it feels so Twilight. Let's get to the acting in this movie. Okay, I'm going to say this about the acting before I talk about anything else. I'm going to get to the acting first. Every single actor in this movie, minus one person, has a lot of potential, and I can definitely see them doing other movies. That's not this! I can see them doing anything but this. If they want to do other movies, fine. Especially Dakota Johnson, as Anna. Now, she has a lot of potential in her career. I can definitely see her doing more movies. But she was terrible in this movie, and she's trying to give a great performance, but let me explain what's wrong with her character. First of all, her character is horribly written, and I know she's supposed to be like awkward and everything, but seriously, what drove me insane about her character is that the second that he started stalking her should have been a sign that, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be with him. Not once does she actually question herself and it's like, maybe I shouldn't be with him. No, she just keeps getting all this sex from him. She keeps wanting it, and she never like says. And what the weirdest part of it is that she wants a romantic relationship with him, and he doesn't give her that. Why does she want it? I don't know. They don't explain why she wants it. Why does she want to? Why doesn't she want to leave him and just get the fuck out? I don't know. She never questions it. She questions herself about him being gay, but she doesn't question herself on why she's with him. She really doesn't, and I gotta say, while she is trying, she really gave a terrible performance. There are so many things that I hate about her character. They're trying to make her character awkward and funny, and there's so many times in this movie where they try to have all this humor. The problem is, with her characters, the humor they have for her character is in the wrong places. If they would have taken this whole movie and just not taken it seriously at all, I actually probably would have enjoyed it, because the scenes where she is making jokes, I will admit, they are pretty funny, actually, and I was laughing at them. But that's because that they're making fun of the movie. There's a scene where she makes fun of the way he talks, and it was absolutely hilarious. But then there are other scenes where the movie takes itself seriously, and you wonder, well, why that take itself seriously when that made fun of it? It doesn't work. It just makes me personally feel like, and I'll get to this when I get to the directing, but it just did not work for me, and I'll talk about that when I get back into directing and things like that. Jamie Dornan also has a lot of potential, but he in this movie was legitimately hilarious. Like, he is giving a terrible performance. He gave an absolutely awful performance as Christian Grey, and I'm going to talk about why. How would you like it if I talked to you like this throughout the whole movie, and I tried to sound like a creepy perv, and I tried to sound like the creepiest thing ever, and yet nobody ever talks like this in real life unless they have some sort of problem with them, unless they have like a very raspy voice. This is how Christian Grey talks throughout the whole movie. I'm not kidding, guys. That's how he talks throughout the whole movie. And he's trying to be this creepy character, and it just does not work for me. Nothing about his character worked for me. He was so bland, and one of the things that I hate about his character is that we get all of this development with his character. So much with his character. Also, Anna doesn't have much of a character to her, other than she's this awkward girl who works in a hardware store, and she wants to be with Christian. She doesn't get much beyond that, and he gets a lot. And I gotta say, all the character development we got with him, I didn't give a shit about, but it's not good either. There's this one long scene about how he can play the piano. I don't care that he can play the piano. I don't care about his helicopters. I don't care if he's gay. I don't care about his fashion magazine. I don't care about any of this stuff with him. I didn't care about his character. I found him boring, and I will say, though, the actor Jamie Dornan has potential. I know that he is doing a Netflix series. He actually just got signed on to do a Netflix series. Good for him, because I see potential from these two actors, and that's something that I did not see in Twilight. I didn't see potential for Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. May I mind you, they're actually doing well now that they're away from Twilight, but these actors, I think, have a lot of potential. Now, their chemistry in the movie, and everyone's saying this, and I'm sorry if you guys like their chemistry or whatever. Me, personally, I hate their chemistry, and I think the problem with their chemistry is, one, they don't have any, two, it just feels so forced. And I'm going to say this right now. The dialogue in this movie that they are saying feels like they are literally reading lines off of a script. They don't have any emotion in things. There are scenes where they're having conversation. They have no emotion into anything that they are saying. This movie has no emotion whatsoever. And there's so many things about this movie, especially with the tone. I'm going to get to what the real problem is with that. But just their chemistry was so boring, and they made the movie boring. There are scenes in the beginning that like are supposed to be interesting. There are so many dialogue scenes that just drag on and on and on and on. It's like, I don't care. I don't care about their relationship. It just doesn't, that's one of the things that a romantic movie has to do. You have to care about their relationship. I don't give a shit about their relationship. I didn't care about them. I didn't care once about them. There was nothing about them that I found interesting, and I just found them to have really bad chemistry overall. They really were horribly miscasted. And also, let's talk about Dakota Johnson as a whole. She's not hot, and for guys being dragged to this movie, now I wasn't dragged to this movie because I don't have a girlfriend, first of all, and I'm straight. May I mention that the reason I watched this movie was because it was leaked on a Solar movie, and I knew I had to review it to you guys because I'm trying to watch every mainstream release that comes out in 2015. I've told this to you guys, and I'm keeping that promise. I'm not skipping, and I told myself I'm not skipping any movies, so I can't skip this movie, and yeah, so that's why I'm watching it. But Eloise Mumford is Kate, Anna's best friend. They tried to make her funny, and it just didn't work. I didn't care about her character. She doesn't have any character moment. I didn't see the point of her character. I really didn't. The only point of her character is to have conversations with Anna. I didn't see the point of her character at all, and she was just really dumb to me, and I didn't like her character, and I thought she was just dumb, in my opinion. Everyone else in the movie is terrible. Victor Razuk as Jose. I'm sorry, that actor does not. No, he doesn't have a future, and that's really all I'll say about the acting. Let's get to the directing in this movie. Okay, you guys may think that I hated the directing. I mean, the acting. That is nothing compared to the directing and the tones of this movie. What the fuck is up with the tones of this movie? This movie does not know what it wants to be, and I think that the problem is, first of all, it's based on fan fiction, and the writer of this movie basically just said that there's a big difference between reading a fan fiction and converting that into a book and then into a movie. Because with a fan fiction, you don't have to have much of a story. You just have to be entertained and go with it. Because I read fan fiction. I will admit that. I will wholeheartedly admit that I read fan fiction. There's fan fiction that I think is really good. Would it be good turned into a book? No, because it's not good grammar. It's not well done. The story's all over the place. It wouldn't be good as a movie. But it works as fan fiction because it's something you can read to kill time. That's really what fan fiction is. It's something you read on the internet to kill time about your favorite movies and TV shows. That's all it is. Convert into a movie, it doesn't work at all. And again, I'm going to talk about this. There are so many scenes in the first hour of this movie where they try to be comedic and funny, and there's a scene where, like, she's making fun of the way he talks, and I'm laughing about it. But then in the second hour, the second half of the movie, they just abandon it. They don't go back to it. It's like, well, you had all these jokes in here. Why didn't you do that in this scene? Why did you have me laugh here and then take it seriously here? It doesn't make any sense, and to me, here's what it seemed like. To me, it just seemed like the directors were trying to, and I know people could say, well, that's the directors being self-aware. Yeah, I get that. But to me, it just felt like the directors did that because they wanted to cover up the fact that this movie is a disaster. That's why they did this. They wanted to cover up the fact that they wanted to make it seem like they knew what they were doing when really they didn't. And the way Sam Taylor Johnson directed this movie was not good at all. He totally tries to direct this as a romantic movie, and it just does not work. I don't think he's directed really anything else except for Nowhere Boy, which I heard was an okay movie, but he was not the right person to direct this movie. He did not direct it well. I didn't think he did a good job directing it. I really did not like his directing at all to this movie, and everybody's talked about this, and now we're going to talk about the thing that one of the things that pissed me off the most in this movie, and that is the sex element of this movie, which is the biggest part of this movie. The thing you're supposed to care about the most is the sex scenes and things like that. They're supposed to build all this story, and they're boring. They feel out of place. I have to say this, guys. When they introduce the sex scenes, I'm like, this feels out of place. Like, literally, those scenes feel out of place. When you're watching this movie, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that kind of movie. It's not written that way at all, and it doesn't work when you do that. To me, it just seemed like the only reason they did that was, once again, because it's fan fiction, and people like reading that. But I don't need to see a movie about it. I didn't even see the point of this movie. I'm going to be honest, guys. There were times where I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, what is the actual point of this? What is the actual point of this you're trying to get across? Also, this movie, it has so many bad messages. As I said, there are girls in my school who wanted to see this movie, and there are some girls that did see this movie. Good for them, but they probably have some horrible messages now. Because this movie tells you that if you have a boyfriend that does BDSM and he's abusive and things like that, you should stick with him, even if you question yourself about it. And the ending to this movie is so stupid, I have to say. The ending to this movie, the only reason they ended it that way is because they knew they were doing another movie, and they wanted to open it for a sequel. That's literally the only reason why the ending scene is in here. And the ending scene feels so out of place from the rest of the movie, and it's so dumb. And the second half of this movie, I have to say, the first half is not that messy. The first half is it's sort of a story, but after they have sex, it's completely messy. They have a conversation, they have sex. She avoids him for a while, they have sex. It doesn't work. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. It feels like two different movies. It feels like they didn't know what they wanted to do, and the directing did not work to me whatsoever. The screenplay of this movie is just so boring, and the lines they are saying are so boring, and just, it takes you out of the movie. It really does. Not only does the sex scene take you out of the movie, but the conversations they have take you out of the movie, and they kept building all of this story to the movie. movie. And it's just like, I don't care about your story. I don't care about the story. I didn't care about the characters from to begin with. Why do you think I'd care now? Like, seriously, I didn't see the point of this. The screenplay was so boring. I will say there are some good things about this movie. The cinematography is actually very good to this movie, but to a point. These sex scenes, the way they're filmed, are horrible. They're dark. I can't see anything. I can't see shit, and that's not because the way this movie was filmed, there was a cam quality. I'm talking about the way it was filmed, period. I looked up scenes of I looked up like, stills from this movie to see if it really is filmed terribly, and it is. I can't see shit when they are having sex, and you're supposed to. And the cinematography was awful in that aspect. It's way too dark, it's way too, like, white cinematography. It didn't fit the movie at all, because honestly, guys, this movie is not that dark. It's really not, and the trailers made it seem like it was gonna be, like, the darkest thing ever, and it's really not. In fact, I didn't even see this movie being very dark. I didn't find Christian Grey menacing. I didn't find him menacing, and you're supposed to. I did not find him menacing. I'm gonna be honest. I found him just this creepy guy that's obsessed with a girl, and he won't get over her. That's what it seemed like to me. Also, why would you be with her? If she's a virgin and she wants a romantic relationship, why the fuck would you stick with her? If you like girls that like BDSM and she doesn't, then why do you pick her? What makes her different from the other girls you've been with? It doesn't make sense to me, and it just felt completely out of place and did not work whatsoever. I didn't see the point of it, and it was stupid. It was dumb. It really was dumb. The editing is all over the place. The editing's extremely choppy. It's all over the place. It didn't work for me at all. I did not like the editing to this movie whatsoever. I want to talk about the soundtrack to this movie. Now, I will admit, there are some really good songs in this movie, actually. In fact, I bought some of the songs off the soundtrack. There's a song in this movie called I Know You. It was, you could pre-order the soundtrack, and I'm like, wow, the soundtrack's actually really good. It actually made me have a little bit of hope for the movie. I'm like, maybe the movie actually could be good if the soundtrack's this good. But no! No, the soundtrack, the songs that they had didn't go with that scene. I will admit, the songs that they picked for this movie are great, but they don't go with the scene. The song Earned It felt like a scene that should have been a sex scene. The song I Know You seems like a scene that should have been at the end of the movie, but that's not where it is, and it doesn't work. The scenes that they have the songs in don't go with that scene, and it really, this is something that Twilight did as well. It really upsets me when they do that, because the songs you have is actually a huge portion of your movie, because the songs are supposed to make you feel something, and you don't feel anything when you have a song that is completely irrelevant to what's going on in the story. When Earned It is playing, it's him in a car driving her to her graduation, and it doesn't work whatsoever. It really does not work, and it's really dumb, and I didn't see the point of that scene either. I just found it stupid. I really did. I really found it stupid overall. Really, it was dumb. It really was just dumb, and also, guys, this movie, as I said, is not sexy. The sex scenes do not feel sexy. Again, they feel out of place. They feel like it shouldn't be in there. If you want to see a movie that's sexy, watch The Last 5 Years. It is, because those scenes actually made me feel something. That movie actually made me care for the couple. It actually, that is such a better story than this, and I knew I was going to say this, guys. The Last 5 Years is such a better movie than this. If you want to see a good romantic movie, watch The Last 5 Years. It doesn't end well. This doesn't really end well either, but that's just good acting, and it's amazing. It's my favorite movie of 2015 for a reason. This is not even a romantic movie. This literally feels like, yeah, we're going to pair these two actors up together. We're going to make this movie because we know that people want to see it. We know that girlfriends are going to drag their boyfriends to see it. So we're going to make this movie now, and we're going to have a lot of people see it. I'm going to tell you guys something. I guarantee that by this weekend, nobody is going to see this movie. And you know how I know that? Because I went to the movie theater yesterday to see Kingsman. Not one person bought a ticket for 50 Shades of Grey. In fact, I was waiting for someone to say one ticket for 50 Shades of Grey. Nobody bought a ticket for 50 Shades of Grey. Kingsman is dominating 50 Shades of Grey, and the only reason 50 Shades of Grey made so much money and dominated the box office is because it came out on Valentine's Day. And if this movie not come out on Valentine's Day, nobody would have cared. Nobody would have cared. They would not have promoted this movie, and I wish they didn't promote this movie because it's dumb, and it's giving people the wrong idea about relationships, and it really is stupid, guys. It's dumb, it's stupid, just skip it. I don't want to see another one. Again, these actors do have some sort of improved. I can see the actors definitely doing something better than this, but just don't do these movies. I'm sick of these movies. I'm sick of these franchises. I don't want them to split the book into two parts. Also, guys, the movie did not even feel like a hard R. It didn't feel bad at all. Like, I'm watching the sex scenes and I'm like, this isn't even that bad. Like, it's not bad. It feels like something I'd see on HBO or Showtime. Where, by the way, you can get a lot more steamy sex from HBO or Showtime. That's how bad the sex scenes in this movie are. I'm gonna say that right now. This movie was originally supposed to be NC-17, and I don't see why, because the scenes are not hot, and they don't make me feel anything. They just make me feel like this is just making the movie drag on. It's a 2-hour movie that goes nowhere. It has a terrible ending that just feels totally out of place. It has actors that were horribly miscasted and are not attractive, and just, to me, it just completely failed in every level. I am giving this movie half a star out of 5. I'm sorry, guys. I absolutely hate it. If you liked it, my friend actually liked this movie. You know, my friend, my friend from YouTube who also does movie reviews, he liked this movie. He liked it. He thought there was good things about it, but he admitted that it has problems. I don't think you can watch this movie and tell me that it does not have problems, because it does. You have to admit, the dialogue is laughable. This is a movie where the dialogue is like, there's like a line where he's like, I don't do romance, and there's like a line where he's talking about how he's been waiting for her all his life, and it's stupid, and that's basically for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Do not watch this movie. Please, guys, do anything else with your time. I don't care what you do with your time. Just don't watch this movie. Really, you're not going to feel happy about it. You're going to feel like you wasted a bunch of money. You're going to wait all this time. You're going to feel very disappointed after watching this movie, and that's really all I have to say about this movie. It's a total cash grab. I'm sick of these kind of movies being made, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be my review for Pretty Little Liars. So see you guys for that. Okay, bye.